Good morning, warriors. I know there was a last minute change in the plan schedule. I'm sorry for that. It is some reason I like to come to the class now, so you can't help it also. You were in? That's new for me. We were learning this chapter number 1 called as Basics of Taxes. We are trying to understand what do you mean by a direct tax subject, right? Yes, we started with the subject yesterday to understand what do you mean by a law, what do you mean by a tax, and then we forgot what we did is income. We did not discuss what we have to do is income. We will discuss as we go forward in today's class. After that, we come and understood who can levy taxes, correct? Who can levy taxes? Authority of law can levy taxes, and authority of law will levy taxes only by the power of Constitution of India. Only the Constitution of India can give you the powers to levy taxes. Article number 265 of the article gives you the powers to levy taxes or collect taxes. It's income tax stated under which list? Union list. It is income tax stated under Union list. GST stated under yes, we are under concurrent list for GST. Which one is progressive in nature? Which one can shift burden? How many for direct tax? I want to shift my burden. I want my income to be paid by someone else. Allowed? Huh? Not allowed. Shifting of burden is only permitted in indirect taxes. An example of indirect tax. Apart from that, customs is also one example, excise is also one example, VAT, sales tax is out, service tax is also out, everything is out. Yes, you have customs duty also and excise duty also. In your final level and inter level for your exams in indirect taxes, you will only learn GST and customs, that's all. Okay, your VAT, CST and all is not there. ICI is somewhat not very excited to teach you about alcohol and also you can learn it off records. Yeah, you will not learn it in on records, you will learn it off records. Yes, yes, what else? We try to understand what do you mean by a law and a act. Which one is bigger? Law is bigger. A law is bigger, consists of act, rules, circulars, notifications. I remember Karthik telling in yesterday's class he will discuss this when he comes to interpretation of statutes. I am discussing today. When he does interpretation of statutes, no, you go and tell him Rahul has already discussed, we don't want to learn from you. Okay? We are into act, rules, then circulars, notifications and case laws. Somewhere let's go back to your 10th standard. Let's go back to your 10th standard. You had a subject called civics. What is the subject? What is the subject? Something about politics and all. Yes, there you would have learned something called in politics that you have 3 kinds of bodies. One is called as legislative body, administrative body, judicial body. Legislative is the body which creates laws. Administrative is the body which executes the law. Judicial body is the one which governs the law. That time and all we learned, we don't know what it is, we don't care what it is. Now it is coming back on your head. This is how it works in life, you know, karma. Yes, the point is very simple. What you're learning right now in a law, which is an act, a rule, a circular, a notification and a case law, is done by all the 3 bodies. You have to tell me which one is done by which body. Yes, I'm going to show my, no, I'm going to stop. Yeah, I'm going to stop my screen. I'm going to come to the right side. I'm going to put it out again for you. What are the items we discussed? We have an act. Then we have a rules. Tell me, act is given by which of the 3 bodies? Act is drafted or is governed? Drafted. It's governed. Then it's done by whom? Legislative body. It is done by the legislative body. Come to the rules. Rules. Do you think Modi will sit and prepare rules for you? Who will do it? Administrative body will do it for you because they know the law better. Yes or no? Modi has to create 500 laws. Will Modi come and tell you what is company, what is income tax? Who will do it? Person who's assigned for doing the companies and income tax, which means it is done by administrative body. Then circulars, notifications. And the law the clarifications will be given by Modi, will be given by administrative body. This is also administrative body. Come to case laws. Judicial body. Clear? Clear? These are the kind of bodies which are there. Now coming to income tax, I have discussed company. Let's come to income tax. In income tax, you have these items. One is income tax, one is Finance Act, one is circulars, then notifications, income tax rules, and then case laws. Help me out. Income tax act given by legislative body. Income tax act is given by legislative body. Finance Act, IT rules, administrative, circulars, notifications, case laws. Clear till here? Clear till here? Question to you. You did yesterday Companies Act. What did you do in law? Companies Act danda. You did Companies Act. He would have told you there is something called Companies Act 2013. And somewhere he was discussing about rules also in dividend. When should you pay your dividend? 14 days, kulla 21. What did you discuss? Rules patching la nete. He was telling, I remember on the YouTube, he said there are some rules when it comes to dividends, you have to do this, you have to do that. First day of the class itself, not revising. After 6 months, God only knows what is going to happen. Did he discuss something called rules? Did he tell you there are rules in dividends? Did he tell you the date of the rules? No. Okay, generally let me tell you. When it comes to Companies Act, you will also have company rules. Yes. The point what will happen is company rules will also be 2013. When Companies Act is 2013, company rules will also be 2013. But the problem in income tax, you notice, no? Income Tax Act is 1961. Income tax rules is. Upon 1 year, there was no rules itself. 1 year, people were doing whatever they want in life, correct? Correct idea. I don't know what is happening. Generally, you notice your other sections also. You did Contract Act also, no? You might have had something called as Contract Act 1872. You go and check for the rules, you'll find Indian Contract Rules also 1872. Generally, that's how it works. Okay? But Income Tax Act itself is a special body. They're coming and saying, boss, Act is in 1961, but rules is in 1960. 1 year, no rules itself. That is the year when everyone came and said, boss, I will create an act, but then you do whatever you want. You want to pay, you pay. You don't want to pay, don't pay. Correct idea? Or they would have had a rules. They would have had rules. How is this 1961 to 1962 labbed? What we will discuss. That is what we will discuss. Understand, keep this question in mind. When we discuss, you will understand why it is 61 to 62. It will blow your minds. Okay. So we are right now in Income Tax Act, Income Tax Rules, Circulars, Notifications. Nadula irukudhu, there is something item called as Finance Act. What the hell is this? What happens is, if you notice, when it comes to your Companies Act or any other act for that matter, whenever there is an amendment which comes, amendment meaning changes, whenever you want to make some changes, you will directly make it in the act itself. But income tax works special. They will not touch the act itself. They will create another act called as Finance Act. They'll come and say, boss, I will make amendments in Finance Act. When you read your Income Tax Act, you read it along with Finance Act. The reason is very simple, boss. Budget is the day when you announce your finances. Income tax day, you're paying tax, not paying tax. You're paying tax, which means it is about finances of the government, yes or no? So they said, boss, I don't want to do it in income tax. Let me do it in a separate act called as Finance Act. Because every year your money terms will change. Your budget will change every year, yes or no? Therefore, they said, boss, income tax touch panata vella, we will touch the Finance Act. Boss, what you're reading is Income Tax Act 1961. And what you're reading is not just Finance Act 2022. You're also reading Finance Act 1962 to 2022. You're starting with 1961 of Income Tax Act. Then you will do Finance Act 1962 to Finance Act 2022. Do we have to read all the Finance Act, Rahul? Yes. We will read all the Finance Act. The only good thing about it is from Finance Act 1962 to Finance Act 2021 is already a part of your income tax. It's already a part of your income tax, which means what extra we will read is only the green highlights which I showed in my book. Technically, when I read Income Tax Act 1961, I mean I am reading Income Tax Act 1961 along with Finance Act 1962 to 2021 in one leg. Second leg, I am reading Finance Act 2020. Next year when you come back, You come back. We will read what? This will become Finance Act 2022 along with Finance Act 2020. Want to come back? Finals ku varamatingla. Okay. Appo. Yes, understand the point. What is happening is your Finance Act is what is happening in income tax. So because income tax is the old law, I don't want to discuss. What I will discuss right now with you? Finance Act. I will discuss what is a Finance Act. Tell me, you are on budget day. You are on budget day, meaning Feb 1st. You are on Feb 1st. You are on Feb 1st. Your budget day is happening. Who's going to stand in front of you? Our Honorable Finance Minister, currently present as Nirmala Sitharaman. She's going to come and give you a budget. She's going to come and give you a budget. The question to you, on the day of budget itself, first day itself, she'll announce the Finance Act itself, or she will announce something as a draft. She'll announce something as a draft. The draft is called as bill. The draft is called as bill. What happens on the first day is that Nirmala Sitharaman will come on the stage. She'll come and say, sir, I'm going to give you the amendments which is pertaining to Income Tax Act, but this is a draft amendments. This is a draft amendments to be brought in by way of finance bill. To be brought in by way of finance bill. After that, what will happen? Discussions will happen with whom? Namakulla round table vechittu. No, it will happen with the general public. It will happen with the general public. When this time, Feb 1st, when the budget was announced, after that, what will happen is this bill will go to the public. Go to the public and it will say, boss, this is the bill which we proposed. You tell me if you're okay with it or not. You tell me if you're okay with it or not. What we'll do, scholars like us, CAs, other lawyers and all will sit on the bill. We will analyze the bill and we'll see if there are some errors, English error, understanding error, drafting error, something missed out, etc., etc., and we'll give it back to them. Whom? Direct away call panya. We'll give it to whom? We'll give it to the government. We'll give it to the government, meaning Ministry of Finance. Hariharan. Understand what is happening is in government, when you sit, every kind of act will have their own special ministries. Will have their own special ministries. That is why in Companies Act you have something called as MCA, Ministry of Corporate Affairs. When it comes to income tax, this is about finances. So it is handled by Ministry of Finance. It is handled by Ministry of Finance. Any doubts till now? No? So what will happen is we'll give our recommendations to Ministry of Finance. Ministry of Finance will take the recommendations and alter the bill. Or no? They will alter the bill. Now what will happen? The bill altered, final document is with whom? With whom? Is with Nirmala Sitharaman back. Is with Nirmala Sitharaman back. What she'll do with the bill? What she'll do with the bill? She has to implement it. Where will she implement? He sits in which house? He sits in which house? He sits in the lower house, which means Lok Sabha. So what will happen? A second meeting will happen. A second meeting will happen. That and all will not be very excited. Okay, the first meeting only, budget day only will be very exciting. Adhikapra second meetings and all will not be exciting. You can see it on the screen. You can see it on the screen. Lok Sabha again, what will happen? This bill will go. Nirmala Sitharaman will come and say, this is my final bill. My final bill. All those in favor, everyone will raise hands because the party itself is government only. Modi only the party. Okay, no opposition will happen. No opposition will happen. Majority will always sit on the bill only. So what will happen? Lok Sabha will approve the bill. That's the only step. Then it will go back to the upper house called as Rajya Sabha. It will go back to the upper house called as Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha can do what? They can either accept the bill or reject the bill or send it back for amendments. Send it back for amendments on the paper. The paper. Actually, you know what is happening. Actually, you know what is happening. From when it is come from Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha does not have an authority. Okay, Moonji Petchida, Amapa, Idapa, okay, na vechikone avladam. Yes, that is how it happens in Rajya Sabha because most of the people sitting in Rajya Sabha are Modi government. You know how Rajya Sabha is elected? Elects for Rajya Sabha. Members of the Lok Sabha elects the Rajya Sabha. So the seats in Lok Sabha are the ones electing the Rajya Sabha. Seats in Lok Sabha are mostly filled by current government of BJP. Therefore, Rajya Sabha is also predominantly. Yes, அதனால opposition வரவே வராது. அங்க என்ன சொன்னாலும் சார் நீங்க தான் தேவதா சார் நீங்க சொல்லிட்டீங்க நாங்க இதுக்கு மேல என்ன பண்ண முடியும் சொல்லுவாங்க. Yes, so Rajya Sabha will apply. After Rajya Sabha applies, what will happen? Go to the president. It will go to the president of India for what? For consent. It will go to the president for consent. For those who people think that president has an authority, he will approve, he will not do anything. Okay, president is only a summa signing body. You take the bill, you go to the president, you come and say, sir, this is the final document. Silently sign it and give it back. That's all. He cannot come and say, no, I don't like it, change it. He will say, go to hell. Who will say? Rajya Sabha will say, go to hell, I don't care. President here is a dummy body, only there for the purpose of all. Only thing he can do is sign the body. He has, that too, he has restrictions. He has only 14 days. And the 14 days kulla sign பண்ணிட்டா great. 14 days kulla sign பண்ணலனா sir நீங்க தூங்கிட்டீங்க நாங்க approve பண்ணிட்டோம் நீங்க பாத்துக்கோங்க அவ்வளவுதான். Rule says president can only give a consent, and that consent also has to come within a period of 14 days. If you give it within 14 days, the bill will become an act. The bill will become an act. The bill will become an act. If he does not give it within 14 days, it is deemed to become an act. At this point of time, president cannot do anything other than. That is why in India, president does not come on the face of it itself. The only person ruling the party is. This works exactly opposite in other countries, because there the authority is with president. The authority is not with. India works ulta always. We always feel we are better than others in the world. No, that is how it is. Yes. So what is the step process is, once there is a bill, the bill will go to Lok Sabha. From the Lok Sabha it will go to Rajya Sabha. From Rajya Sabha it will go to president for consent. For consent. After the president gives its consent, it becomes an act. This act will be called as Finance Act. This act will be called as Finance Act. The moment it becomes a Finance Act, you take the Finance Act, you take your Income Tax Act, you read it together. You read it together. It becomes very complicated to read. I'll show you someday. Someday I'll show you what a Finance Act looks like. It is impossible for someone to understand. Okay, on the level of complication, because what will happen, Finance Act will not come and give it proper English. What it will say, in section 2 of Income Tax Act, which is there in Income Tax, go read Income Tax. In that there is a word called A. Instead of A, replace it to the. That's all. It will say, in section 2 of Income Tax Act 1961, for the words A, and the, please replace it with the. That is what this Finance Act looks like. You have to go to Income Tax Act, first read what is section 2. Then identify enna word solraru. And the word highlight பண்ணிட்டு அதுக்கப்புறம் அந்த கட் பண்ணிட்டு இங்க போடணும். இதான் ஆகும். That is what to read also. That is what we do here. That is what we do here. We sit and we do the whole nonsense for you people. We sit and we understand the Finance Act, take the Income Tax Act, merge it inside it, and then compare and understand which one is the issue. And then we have to sit and understand what the amendment is. Then we have to prepare your book and give it to you so that you can understand it better. What you're seeing right now is an Income Tax plus Finance Act combined book. But when you enter the market, you will have to read Income Tax separately, Finance Act separately, merge Finance Act into Income Tax on your own thoughts. Okay? How to read, how to interpret law, somewhere on the end of the batch we'll do. Somewhere in the end of the batch we'll do. Right now, if I tell you no, you'll start interpreting and you'll stop reading for my book. Okay? I don't want to do that. At the end of the batch, once you're done with everything, I will tell you how to read a law also. So that tomorrow when you go for your articleship, when you go for your final studies and all, you know how to read an act. Okay, tomorrow you don't go to articleship and you stare in his face, say, I don't know what to do, Rahul's name will go back. I want to spare my name. Okay? So we'll understand how a law is also read. That level of complications also we'll do, but at the end of the batch. Okay. Clear? So we have now done Finance Act 2020. Done Finance Act 2022. Clear or not clear? Okay, my question. Finance Act 2022. Why are we reading for November 23? We should read Finance Act 23 only, no? Correct, no? Correct, no? Yes or no? We should read Finance Act. Hey, you are writing for November 23, yes or no? Apana, we should read Finance Act 23 only. No? Why are we reading Finance Act 22? Very good. Understand, on Feb 1st, what happened is only the bill got passed. The bill got passed. Even now, Lok Sabha has not approved the bill. Even now, Lok Sabha has not approved the bill. Lok Sabha is still waiting for recommendations from the public right now. And the recommendations, it will go to Lok Sabha, then it will go to Rajya Sabha, then it will go to President consent. Adukula, what will happen? Your ICI rules comes and say that only up to amendments of 6 months can be considered. Yes or no? Or no? Start from November, take 6 months back. What is the year? May kulla budget vandadana agum. Yes, therefore they said, boss, no taking risk. We will give you only what is applicable. So therefore they moved to Finance Act 2022. In simple terms, what I'm trying to tell you is Finance Act 2022 is applicable for May 23 and November 3. Once you go for May 24, it will become Finance Act. Clear, not clear? Clear? Going forward, when you go for your exams, after exams, when you go for your market, and someone is asking you a question. Who is that someone? Your principal, any outer party who's asking you for a question. First question you'll ask him is, boss, what Finance Act are you referring to? First tell me that. Because what you did in Finance Act 22 may not be there in what is there in Finance Act 20. So tomorrow if someone asks you for an advice, the first question you need to ask him, boss, for which year do you want your answer? And the year vechittu you have to understand which Finance Act do you want to refer. அந்த ஃபினான்ஸ் ஆக்ட் வச்சு தான் நீ ஒப்பீனியன் கொடுக்கணும். புரியுதா இல்லையா? Tomorrow, just like that, because you closed your exam, you are in Finance Act 22, you go to the market, you come and say, sir, I will tell you provisions as per Finance Act 22. What will he say? Hey, that what you read is 2 years back old. I want what is latest. You tell me what is latest. So you need to know what is the latest also. Whenever you start, always ask the right questions before you start. Clear or not clear? For your exams, you are clear that you only have to read Finance Act 22. Finance Act 22. Clear, not clear? Yes, let's read. This is the whole process of a Finance Act 2022. You start from the Finance Bill. Finance Bill is introduced by the Finance Minister and is later approved by the members. It goes to the Lok Sabha for approval. Then it goes to Rajya Sabha for your approvals. Can either add, modify, or send it back for amendments. Then it goes to the President. President can only give a consent. The moment President gives a consent, what happens is it gets presented as a Finance Act, goes to the official gazette. What is this official gazette? What is this official gazette? Basically the repository of India. Basically the repository of India. If you want to understand what has happened in the laws, just to go to official gazette, type the law, it will come saying the full trail will come. It started when, what and all changes you have made every year, and then what have you come to the final position. Okay? Official gazette is the place, it's the repository of India. The moment gets something published on official gazette, it is assumed that it is applicable to the whole of India. It's applicable to the here. The moment it becomes a Finance Act, it has to be read along with your income tax. Any doubts? No. Doubts? No. Doubts? There is some 4 lines after this Finance Act. You will not understand it right now. We will discuss as we go forward. But the green one is wanted for you. Amendments are from Finance Act 2020. Clear or not clear? Clear? We are done with the first act called as Finance Act. Coming to the next act. First act is called as Income Tax Act 1961. Have you read an act before this? Not the act itself, but you've done acts, no, Contract Act and all. You will always have a set of rules, section. Yes, the first section is always called as title. Only title. Huh? Preamble is before the act itself. What and all will be there in section 1? What? Does anyone know what is there in section 1? How many acts have you learned? LLP, companies, partnership, sale of goods, then Togawa, then Contract Act, then that's all. That's what you've learned 5 acts. They never told you how it works. You start from section 1. What is there in section 1? Meaning of what? What is section 2? I'm asking what is section 1? Section. No idea? Foundation. Pere foundation. We have to create your foundation. Yes. Section 1 talks about short title, extent, commencement. Talks about short title, extent, commencement. Meaning, the first thing they will tell is what is the title of the act. Second, they will tell us extent of the act. Extent na yarku idu apply agudhu. Third, it is telling when does it commence. Third, it is telling when does it commence. Clear or not clear? 3 things which we will discuss when it comes to an act. One is your short title, extent, commencement. Yes, we are in Income Tax Act 1961. Short title will be called as Income Tax Act 1960. What is it called as? Income Tax Act 1961. Next is, tell me. It extends to the, hey, this is the Central Act, which means it extends to whole of, very good. What the hell is India? இதோ படிச்சிருக்கீங்க கான்ட்ராக்ட் ஆக்ட்ல வந்திருக்கு தெரியுமா? It extends to the whole of India. படிச்சிருக்கீங்களா படிக்கலையா? I'll come to that law also. I'll come to that. What do you mean by India? What do you mean by India is my question? Residents of India? The residents of India. People. You're not answering. You're telling me the extent. I'm not asking extent. I'm asking the meaning of India. இந்தியாவுக்கு ஒரு மீனிங் இருக்கா கேக்குறீங்களா? இந்தியாவுக்கு ஒரு மீனிங் இருக்கா கேக்குறீங்களா? திடீர்னு என்னடா இங்க இவ்வளவு வருஷமா இருந்திருக்கோம், இந்தியாவுக்கு மீனிங் இருக்கா தெரியலையே. கரெக்டா? What do you mean by India, pa? Geographic territory. Okay. That's a very vague definition. What is geographic territory? Why are you asking this question? அந்த கேள்வி வருதுல? The answer is like this. Let's say, for example, this is your southern part of India. Some bad drawing, but whatever, understand. Yes, your southern part of India is like this. Your southern part of India is like this. You are sitting right now where? Somewhere here. Correct? Huh? Somewhere here you are sitting. Yes, you are sitting here. Today you come and decide, boss, I want to start selling something. You want to sell what? Want to sell a phone. What phone? He wants to sell an iPhone. Yes, he sits here in Chennai. He wants to sell an iPhone. He goes to a market. What market? The market. Hey, you're in Chennai. Da. Let's go to Anna Nagar maybe. Okay. He decides to go to Anna Nagar. He has an iPhone in his hand. He goes, he sells his iPhone. Sells his iPhone, gets 1,50,000 rupees in his hand. Question to him, income tax will apply on him or not? So no. Will income tax apply to him? Is he in India? You are saying yes. Okay, great. Yes. Question number two. He is not in Chennai. Not in. There are waters here. Which water is this? Bay of Bengal. Huh? Yeah. So here is Bay of Bengal. Okay. What happened is somewhere he was on the Chennai. Somewhere he was planning to go for a surf drive. He was planning to go for a surf drive. One storm came, he fell. Okay. Somewhere he landed here. Basically in the water somewhere. Okay. In the water somewhere, he suddenly found an island. Fully stranded, nothing is there. Okay. He is hungry, he wants some food. Suddenly there is one nomad guy comes. All these jungly people and all. First he says, I'm recommending to eat you itself. And then this guy settles, no, sir, don't eat me. You give me something to eat, I will give you money in exchange. He had some money in his pocket. So what happened is that guy gave him some fruits and all. This guy gave him money. Okay. Gave him money. Now that guy is somewhere here, which is around, let's say, over 50 kilometers away from Chennai. Somewhere in the middle of the sea, 50 kilometers, there is an island. There he entered into a transaction where he gave fruits, that guy got money. That guy earned an income, yes or no? Income tax applicable, not applicable? Why? How? How did you say? Numbers. Okay. This is question number 2. Hold it. Okay. Question number 3. What happened is when you were working with this guy, suddenly he said, sir, I am, I have discovered Atlantis. It is in the middle of the sea, bottom. Okay, so he said, sir, I have a special submarine and all. Let's go, let's discover Atlantis. So this guy also went into the submarine. They went down. So now they are not on the island. They are 600 feet below the island. They found Atlantis. They found gold there. They entered into a negotiation saying, half gold yours, half gold mine. Half gold yours, half gold mine. From there jumps one person called an income tax officer, comes and says, day, Adi gold for me also. I am also government. I also want tax from your income. You are coming and asking, I am 600 feet below, that to 500 kilometers away from the seaport. Is this liable for income tax? Chennai. Number 3, answering her question. There is Mike Tyson. Indian guy? Mike Tyson. Sitting in foreign. Comes to India one day. Someday comes into India, sees that boss, founds a beautiful girl, gets married to her, settled in Chennai. Now starts working in Chennai. Question number 4. Okay. Fifth question. We have covered land, we have covered outside land, we have covered below the land. Left off is. So what happens is, he is on the island for a very good amount of time. Now he's tired, wants to go back. Suddenly realizes this island also has an airport. Okay, so what happens? He sits on the flight, goes back to Chennai. On the airport, on the top, since he has won so much big of treasure, no, he wants to enjoy, party. What will he do? He'll go to the air hostess and come and say, I have so much money, give me liquor. So what happened? In the middle of the air, there is an air hostess standing. He says, okay boss, here is a branded bottle, give me 5,000 bucks. This guy pulls out 5,000 bucks, gives it to the air hostess gives a liquor bottle, 5,000 rupees, income for the airport, yes or no? Income for the air flight, yes or no? In the flight, suddenly there was an income tax officer also standing. He said, no boss, 5,000 don't give him. Part of money is mine also. I also want income tax. Air officer is saying, boss, we are on the top of the road. We are in the top of the land. We are in the air. Is it India? Don't know. How many questions over? 6, huh? Question number 7. Comes back to Chennai. Found so much of treasure, no? You think people will leave him go? No, definitely what happened? There is one terrorist group which is there. He found out that this guy has a big treasure. So what happened? And the Iron Man series mari kidnap pantanga. They kidnapped this guy, they took him somewhere. He is in the middle of a cave right now. Enga land ku coola cave irukku nadula. So below the ground, somewhere 500 feet below, they have created a cave. Terrorists have created a cave. This guy is sitting there, and now he's negotiating with them. Saying, boss, that guy is trying to sell some illegal guns and all. Okay? This guy says, you also give me some guns. I also need protection like people from you. So tomorrow this guy enters into, gets one AK-47 from them, pays him 2 lakh rupees. Income for terrorist. Where did he earn the income? 500 feet below the ground. Income, not an income. Taxable, not taxable. India, not India. They do. Yes. 7 questions. Which one is yes, which one is no? இவ்வளோ வருஷமா இருக்கும் இந்தியாவே என்னன்னு தெரியல எப்படி பண்றதுன்னு தெரியலையே கரெக்டா did someone ever have this question Indian Contract Act applies to India அப்பனா the contract should be entered in India வா outside India வா இல்ல மேலையா கீழையா எப்படி நீங்க legal validity குத்துன்னு இருக்கீங்க what if you are sitting here and you enter into a contract with someone sitting in US Tesla வாங்க போறீங்க okay you enter into a contract the question is this Indian Contract Act will apply or US Contract Act will apply or ரெண்டுமே apply ஆகுமா I'm sitting in India, he's sitting in US, acceptance having no phone. Yeah. So India. What is India? Understand India has also been defined. Every act will define their own set of India. Okay? India is not a standard rule. India is defined in every act. And if you have to define an act, where will it be? In section number 2. So if I am telling you in section number 1 that it applies to whole of India, I need to first understand what is. Yeah, let's go to section number 2. I think it's section 225A. 225. Read it for me. How do you read it? Section number 2. Section 2. I'm going to ask the same question again. Section 2. Nope. Before I get into this itself, I think the first thing we need to do is let's read an act. Read the first one. Section. Read this quickly. Section 17. What is after that? Section 17, subsection 2, clause 7, subclause. Very good. Section 17, subsection 2, clause 17, subclause A. Section 2, section 2, section 24. Section 2, clause 4, subclause 8. Rahul, what happened to subsection? A foundation. Have you done sections in foundation? No one tell you that it is not subsection? No? Good for me. Getting more money, I guess. Yes, the point is very simple. Understand what you're using. The word is called as section and subsection, meaning the second item is a sub of the first item, yes or no? Meaning the second item should be linked to the first item, yes or no? Yes or no? Come to first one, it is section 17 and subsection 2, meaning subsection 2 is linked to section 17. There is some relation, yes or no? You're in section number 2. What is section number 2? Definitions. Section number 2 is definitions. Section number 2, clause 1 will talk about A. Clause 2 will talk about B. Do you think B is related to A? What are you doing? You're basically created a section where you're coming and defining all the definitions. At any given point of time, is one definition linked to the other definition? How is it subsection? Or no? Understand, when you read an act, subsection basically means that this should be related to the main section. What you're discussing is something to be related to the main section. When we're reading section 17, it talks about perquisites. We'll discuss what you mean by perquisite. Perquisite meaning what? You're giving benefits to someone. So if you're talking about perquisites, section 17 subsection 1 will also talk about perquisite. Section 17 subsection 2 will also talk about perquisite. That is why it is subsection. But when it comes to definition, you are in definition of 2. You're in definition of 2. Will 2.1 and 2.2 be same? Will you come and say 2.2 is dependent on 2.1? In that case, it becomes clause directly. There is no sub in that. No sub in that. It directly becomes a clause. Clear or not clear? 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 Yes, read the next one. Section 47, clause, section 47, clause A, subclause 1. 47, clause A, subclause 1. Any doubts? No? Understand it today itself. How is it section? How is it subsection? How is it clause? You have to be extremely careful about these activities. Clear? Okay. Come to the right side. Start. How is it? Or are we? We are in act or rules? How do you read it? Rule 31. அதேதான். Sub rule 1. Clause A, அவ்வளவுதான். Same thing only. Yes? Yes? So you need to read something. This is how you need to read something. Below you find some more items. You heard these terms before. Heard these terms before this. First term, provided. Provided. Have you read this? What does it mean? What English definition? In an act, have you read this term provided? Here in consideration. You read this term provided? Have you read this term explanation? Schedules? Help me out. What do you mean? What do you mean? No. Where are we? So income tax சொல்லிட்டு இருந்தேன் லாக்கே போயிட்டேன். Provided is basically an exception. Provided is basically an, let's say for example a section has something. Section has something and you want to give an exception to that. You want to give an exception to that, you will start with something called as provided. You will start with something called as provided. You want to give a second exception, meaning on the exception ke exception. You will call it as provided further. You want to give a third exception, it will become as provided also. Fourth exception, same provided also. Provided also ku appuram ellame same ah poite irukum. Yes, what is an explanation? There is something you want to explain in that section, you are calling it as explanation. Last is, what is schedules? Schedules. My dear, hey, schedule 3 na kelipatringla? What is schedule 3? What? Hey, schedule 3 ketama. What is schedule 3? You have never heard about schedule 3? CL vandadukku appo schedule 3. It's a format of your balance sheet and P&L, yes or no? Where is it given? Where is it given? Companies Act. It's given in Companies Act. Schedule 3 of Companies Act talks about what your balance sheet and P&L looks like. What is a schedule? It's an annexure. And there is a back document. To your main document, you wanted to give something. Basically, what happened? You said that, boss, if you want to prepare your financial statements, you need to prepare a format. Do you think you have the time to prepare the format inside an act itself? No, so you will come and say, let's do one thing, I will prepare it as a part of schedule. So you are giving the full format in a schedule so that you don't disrupt what the format of an act looks like. Yeah? I have a problem now. I am very worried as to how your law reading is. So let's do one thing, let's become lawmakers. Become lawmakers. Let's create a law. Create a law. Create a law. Maybe I'll give you a recommendation. I am planning to create something called as a Fruit Act. Okay. Today you and I are lawmakers. Tomorrow we will go and enter the ministry also. So tomorrow you and I are going to become lawmakers. Today itself we are going to learn how to prepare a law. I have planned and proposed to create something called as a Fruit Act. First thing you need to do is, because I'm creating a Fruit Act, I need to give a year. 2023. I'm planning to give something called as 2023. I have to start with the first item called as section number 1. Section number 1. 3 items. Short title, extent, commencement. So first thing I'll have to do is give a short title. So I will say, this act is hereby going to be referred as Fruit Act 2023. Next, extent. I will say it applies to your choice. Whole of? You want to apply to India? Okay, so it applies to whole of India. The problem now you have is that because you have told it applies to whole of India, you need to now define India. You need to define what is India. So you go to section number 2. You go to section number 2. I'm leaving an open clause. I'm leaving an open clause. Here I'm going to define what is an. Yeah, I don't know what is an India. I have yet to explain to you. So I'm going to define what is an India. Keep it here. Yes. Yes. Next. Commencement. You want to commence it from today's data. Okay, short title is Fruit Act 2023. It applies to the whole of India. Third one is commences from 2nd March 2023. Generally, you will start on a financial year date or you'll start on a first of a month, but okay, your choice. I told you, you're the lawmakers, you decide. You want to hang someone to death, you hang someone to death, I don't care. Yes, so you have now commenced what is called as a section number 2, March 2023. This is what you have started. You have completed section number 1. Clear till now? Yes. Now you're in section number 2 called as definitions. Do you think you can prepare definitions right now? No. You need to first understand what words you are going to use. Yes or no? So you are coming to section number 3. You are going to come to section number 3. First thing you need to do is tell you what the act is going to do. Tell what the act is going to do. What is your thought behind this act? What do you want to do with this act? Ban fruits. So she's proposing that she wants to ban fruits. Inimala, no one should have fruits. Inimala, no one should have fruits. So she comes and says, how do you want to start? Use English. For residents of India is hereby prohibited from the commencement of this act. I'm using some English, it is not the actual law. From the commencement of this act, that fruits will not be sold in India. Section number 3. Okay. Now the problem with section number 3 is you have multiple words. No. Today you have decided, she has decided that boss, ini mela fruits are banned. Mela fruits are banned. As an Indian person, the first thing you will come and say is, you tell me what is fruits, which one are you banning? Yes or no? No. Question to you, is this fruits something you want to define for section number 3 alone or for the whole act? If you want to define for the whole act, will you put it in section number 3 or would put it in section number 2? So you'll put it in section number 2. Question to you, should I put it before 25, after 25? Why? No. Section number 2 is talking about definitions and it's all unrelated to each other. All unrelated to each other, meaning it actually works in an alphabetical order. I is after F before F. ABC solitarno. Yes. Before F, which means it should come before 25, after 25. I is before F, after F. I is after F, which means F should come before or after. Before, so it should come before 25, after 25. Before 25. Let's say I'm putting it as 13. I have to tell something called as fruit. Fine fruit. Fine fruit. Yellow fruits. Ema, color choice alla gottirga. You want to abolish mango? All imported. You want to ban all fruits or some specific? All, ban all fruits. Recommendation where level. Yes. He said she wants to ban all fruits. No thought about it, which means you need to define all fruits in a single line. What is the normal definition of a fruit? How do you understand something is a fruit? Vegetable. Hey, how do you understand what is a fruit, ma? Normally, enna solvanga fruit na? Aduve theriyada? I heard it somewhere. What is the common trait of a fruit? Adu theriyada? There is one common trait about all fruits, I can tell you that. Vegetables and animal based. What is a fruit, people? Vegetable, mato? I have to give a common trait which defines fruit. Tomorrow, if you come and say it can be eaten raw, tomorrow you will say cucumber also is a fruit. And what will you do? Define something as a fruit. How will you use? Hey, one common trait you don't know about fruit. Has someone ever told you that fruits have seeds? Is that the common trait of a fruit? Yes or no? Which vegetable has seeds? Coming to that. Point is, as a common trait, did you understand? Do you know everyone has come and always told that fruits will have seeds? Yes or no? So the one common trait I can think about a fruit is what? Something which has a seeds. Now the point is I have to define something. I have 3 options. One is that I can use an inclusive definition, an exclusive definition, and an exhaustive definition. Do you know the 3 words? What are 3 words? How do you identify them? You have 3 words in an act. One is called as includes. One is called as excludes. One is called as means. One is called as means. In a definition, if you see the word means, it means it is an exhaustive definition. It means நான் சொல்றேன் அதுதான் final அவ்வளவுதான். If I use the word includes, it means I am telling you something, it could be something else also. No. When it comes to exhaustive, exclusive, it means what? I'm telling you what it is not. Besides this, everything else is there. No. Yes. So now I have to define fruits. Tell me, do you want it inclusive, exclusive, exhaustive? Want it as? How do you put it as exclusive? Something which does not have seeds. Sir. Let's put it as an inclusive definition, because tomorrow you don't know. Someone might create a new fruit. No. Today, if I am saying fruit means something which has seeds, it means someone will prepare a hybrid model. They will come and say, boss, this is a fruit without a seed. I will sell it. What will happen? It become a problem. Correct or not? Yes. So let's try and create an inclusive definition. So what I will say, fruit includes any edible item. Yeah, the edible then. Fruit includes any edible item which naturally which naturally consists of a seed. Naturally consists of a seed. Which naturally consists of a seed. This is the definition I have created for you. Okay. So in what will happen? We have created a fruit act where we have said fruit means something which naturally has a seed. Now your name, sorry. Have a short name. Have a long name also. Which consists of. Okay. Now I am the smart person. I went to Satya and came and said, Satya, you have told fruit means something which is a seed. Fruit means something which is a seed. From tomorrow I will come and say, if you sell tomato also, it is banned. No. You know, there is a debate going on, no? Whether tomato is a fruit or a. Tomorrow what happened? I went to Satya and came and said, tomorrow if someone sells a tomato also, I will ban them. I will put a penalty on them. Which means now the question to you is, do you want to keep tomato a fruit or not? I don't want to. I have decided tomato should not be a fruit because technically it is vegetable. Yes or no? Now what I need to do? I need to give an exception to fruit. Provided. Provided. If you say tomato is not a vegetable, then you will say, what is tomato? Provided any edible item which is in common parlance known as tomato will not be considered as a. Correct? Does it make more sense now? Yes. Does it make more sense? You were saying eggplant also has seeds, is it? So we have eggplants also. In this scenario, what is happening? Now I found out that there are certain items which are vegetables but still have seeds, like eggplant, capsicum, bitter gourd. Beans. Okay, fine, maybe beans. Now what is happening? The problem is I cannot come and define every time one provided. First I put a provided for tomato. Now if you come and say, boss, eggplant is also there, I have to put provided further. Then one will say, boss, there is also bitter gourd. Then I'll say provided also. Then I'll say provided also. If you list up, it will become a problem. Correct or not? In a simple term, what I can do? I can say provided. Anything referred to in schedule 1 will not be considered as a fruit. Yes or no? Now what I'm doing? Instead of me coming and changing the act again and again, I can prepare a schedule. I can come and say, boss, every time I include something in schedule, that will not become a. Or no? So I can. Instead of putting it as provided, I can come and say anything which is refined in schedule 1 will not be considered as a fruit. So going forward, what I'll do, I'll go to schedule 1, I'll see these items. These items will now not be called as fruit. Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no? Now since I've defined fruit, I also need to define. What is a. Hey, I am banning fruits. Am I banning vegetable? No, I am not banning vegetable, which means I need to also define what is the vegetable. So next to what will happen now? Vegetable will be after 25, before 25. After 25, let's say it is 46. I say it as vegetable. Tell me, how do you want to define vegetable? Very good. Vegetable means any edible item not considered as fruit. Hey, do you want to take the pain to again define what is a vegetable? When you have already defined what is a fruit, everything balance will be called as. That's all. Yes or no? Yes or no? This is what is called as a vegetable. Any doubts till now? But the problem now is we have only defined it from a vegetarian perspective. Only defined it from a vegetarian perspective. Non-veg, edible item, not edible item. Is edible. Which means, can someone come and say, boss, tomorrow non-veg is also no vegetable? No. So we need to also define what is the non-vegetarian item. So what we'll say, provided that, let's not use provided, let's say explanation. Let's say explanation. I want to now define what do you mean by a vegetable. So I will come and say explanation for the purpose of this act. Any what? Any what? Any? Very good. Any meat-based edibles will not be considered as vegetable. Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes. Now we have completed section 1, we have completed section 2, we have completed section 3. In section 3, we have come and said, boss, inimala fruit cannot be sold in India. Inimala fruit cannot be sold in India. As a normal Indian human being, you will come and say, "Day, nee yaar enak solradhu correct?" We are not very interested with what the law says. We are more interested with what will happen if I don't follow it. Yes or no? So if you have given section number 3 saying it is to be banned, I have to define another section to say what happens if I follow it. Yes or no? Which means I need to introduce something called as penalty. I need to introduce something called as penalty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to define a section number 4. Heading will be called as penalty. Here I will say what? If any person violates section number 3, he shall be levied a penalty of how much money? 3 lakhs per transaction per year. Per transaction. Per transaction. He will be levied a penalty per transaction of 3 lakh. Clear or not clear? Yes. Now we have defined what is an act. We have defined what is an act. We started with an act where we gave the title and everything. We started with the definitions. Now the problem is here somewhere I need to also understand if there is someone else used. Some other words are used because then it will become a problem. There is word used called as, I don't know what is a resident. Tomorrow Mike Tyson can also be a resident. I can also be a resident. So I also need to define something called as resident. Resident will come after vegetable, before vegetable. Before vegetable. So let's say it is 36, 38 now. So it is resident. What is a resident? You define your decision. Okay. Then what else can you define? Is there anything else you should define? Is there anything else you should define? I want to define what is sold also. No. Because sold can mean anything. One can say, boss, if I give you fruits and you give me money, it is called sold. The other person can say, if I'm giving you fruits, you're giving me vegetables also, it is sold. No. Which means barter can also be sold, exchange can also be sold, sale can also be sold, hype off can also be sold. So which means I have to tell what is a sold. Now the question to you, boss, should I define sold in this act? Or is there already another act which is already defined sold? Which act? Very good. So in that case, what will I do? I will define the word sold in definition saying sold means sold as per section number 2 of sale of. Or no? Can I do that? I can definitely do that. I can also give reference to other acts. Clear till now? Yes. Any other word you want to define? We need to define what is a person also. We need to define what is a person also. Person can mean anyone. It can be an individual. Tomorrow if you say boss, person means individual, what will happen? They will incorporate a company and they'll start selling fruits. So you to also decide whether person should include company, should person includes firms, should person include LLP, yes or no? So you need to also define what is a person. So also define person in section number 2. Any other word? You want to define? Nothing. Good enough. Good enough. Yes. 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 We have now completed the act. You've now completed the act. But the problem is what? I have created an act where I came and said, boss, you sell fruits, I will. Yeah, penalty. Someone has to administer it. Will administer. Will have to administer. We need to create a special ministry for it. Or no? Or no? Fruit means which ministry? Your food no owner ka. Either it can be Ministry of Health and Welfare or it can be Ministry of Agriculture. Can be Ministry of Agriculture. Now that ministry will create something called as fruit. What will they create? Rules. They will create a fruit rules. You want 2023. Want 2023. In this you will create your rule saying that boss, this is the person who's made in charge. Meaning fruit department na solto or department na create panna. That department will come and check whether you are selling or not. That department will check where you are selling. If you are going to pay penalty, where should you pay the penalty? In my pocket, in their pocket, in someone else's pocket. That is what will happen in fruit. Any doubts or no? This is how an act is look. This is how an act looks like. In income tax also at the same format is used. Any doubts? Doubts? All clear? Yeah. Two more words I'm just giving you for the purpose of your benefits. We have something called as notwithstanding. Have you heard this word? Then the other word is called as subject to. Have you heard these two words? What do you mean? Very good. This is a superior section. This is the superior section. For example, if I create section number 5, where I come and say she wanted to include milkshakes, right? So let's say I create section number 5. I can come and say, notwithstanding anything contained in this act, if the fruit is sold in the form of a milkshake, then in that case, the fruits can be sold. Tell me, will you come and look at section 3 and say, no, but fruit is abolished, or will you come and look at section 5 and say fruit is permitted? Come and look at section 5. Why? Section 5 starts with the word as notwithstanding, meaning it has come and said, boss, I have become a superior section. Section 5 overrules section number 3. That is where you need to understand what is the word notwithstanding. So there can be various types of notwithstanding. It can be notwithstanding anything contained in section 3. It means it is superior over section 3. If I say notwithstanding anything contained in the act, it means it's superior section over every section. Or no? Clear? So there is a word called notwithstanding. This is called as a it's called as a superior overriding section. It's called as an overriding section. The next word is called as subject to. What do you mean by subject to? Exactly opposite. It is an inferior section. If I say subject to the provisions of section 3, if a fruit is cut and sold, then also it is not permitted. That means what I'm saying, boss, section 3 is saying it is not permitted. Idhila cut pani with talo, it is not permitted only. It does not change the substance. Tomorrow someone can come and say fruit now it's a full substance. Cut pani with ta, I can sell. Or not. So I'm giving a subject condition. In this case, will section 3 override section 6 or will section 6 override section 3? 3 will override. Clear or not clear? This is pretty much the drafting of a sections. Any doubts till now? No? So how you draft is you basically understand the section 1, you understand section 2, you understand section 3, then you go into notwithstandings, provided, subject to, explanations and schedules. Are you all ready to create laws from the future? Or no? Even if you are not, you need all this so that you understand laws at least. Like act padikumbodhu indu puriyalana gali poidum. Okay? Clear till now? Yes, I have not got into the subject. We are still learning what is there. I am trying to build your foundation so that I can get to inter. Okay, clear till now? Yes. Now where were we? I forgot to tell you one thing. Use the word. Can females come and say, boss, you used only word the he, which means females will not pay penalty? How did you make that assumption? Very good. We have something called as a general clauses act. Understand what happens is definitions can be in 3 ways. One way is where you give it in the section itself. If I had defined something in section number 3, this definition will be applicable to only section number 3. If I give a definition in section number 2, it will be for the whole of the act. I wanted a definition. The he word is there. I did not define in section 3. I did not define in section 2. What to do now? What to do now? In India, we have created a new act, special act, not new act, a special act called as the General Clauses Act. General Clauses Act, where they have come and said, boss, if there is a definition missing in any of the act, there is a definition in any of that, come and refer me. Come and refer me. If you find the definition here, then this is what the definition. And one of the definition in General Clauses Act comes and says, whenever there is a word he used, it is deemed that she is also covered. Deemed that she is also covered, which means going forward, females cannot come and say, boss, he irukudnala, she varadu, she is also covered. Okay? And I think recently they've amended to make it they also. They've recently amended to make it they also. They means what? People other than males and females, transgenders and LGBTQ come, all are covered in that. Yeah? Yeah? So he also means question. It is not there in general clauses also. That's what, they did not do it in this act, they did not do it in the definition, they did not do it in general clauses also. Act la illana rules la varaduma. Not there, that's all. Not the question. The question is, you need to search for a definition. See, today there is a problem going, there is a dispute going between you and the officer. Okay, you used a word, officer said, boss, I understand this word. You said, no, I understand it like this. First rule, what you'll do, go to section number 3 and check. It is not there. You will go to section number 2 and check. It is not there. You will go and check section number general clauses. Not there. Now what to do? This scenario, Supreme Court comes and says, boss, use the dictionary meaning. The dictionary meaning. You can go and refer the dictionary. Dictionary la andha vaarthukku enna meaning irukku, that becomes the normal understanding. It's not in dictionary also. Not every word is defined in dictionary. Now what to do? Now what to do? File a case. They will say, boss, if that is also not there, no worries. In normal understanding, what a layman understands of it, that is the understanding. If you are using the word and you don't know what the meaning is, go and check what a layman will understand of that word, that is the common definition. Don't try to put your thoughts inside it. Which means if I use a word, and if I go to a layman and I ask him, what do you understand by this? He says, this means this, that means that is the answer. How does the definition work? Refer the specific section. Did not work out, refer section number 2. Did not work out, refer general clauses. Did not work out, refer dictionary. Did not work out, refer the customs. For the customs, when I say customs, not customs duty, normal customs. What is the normal understanding of the clear, not clear? Background, let's come back to our subject. Yes, we are back to our subject. We were in section number 1 of Income Tax Act, where we said short title means Income Tax Act. Extent is whole of. So I need to define what is. Yes, India is defined under section 2 as section 2 clause 25A. To clause 25A. In a simple term, it says India means first the land mass. India first means land mass. Then it covers territorial waters. It's all there in your book, ma. It's all there in your book. Next is covers territorial waters. So the question means, what is territorial waters? They have said, boss, up to 12 nautical miles. So 12 nautical miles. When it comes to sea and all, they will use nautical miles as a measure. Okay, so they said up to 12 nautical miles from India, it is called as India. Then they came and said, boss, it also excludes exclusive economic zone. It also covers exclusive economic zone. Exclusive economic zone is basically from 13 nautical miles to 200 nautical miles. Covers first what? Territorial waters. Then it covers exclusive economic zone. First from 0 to 12. Then it covers from 13 to 200. And they said, boss, any airspace above, any land mass below. They said land 12 nautical miles, 200 nautical miles, any airspace above, any land mass below. Which means we have covered cave also, we have covered air also, we have covered sea also, we have covered land also. Here? Yes? Have a problem. Look at the definition. We are in sea. They are in sea. They said, boss, first they are covering 12 nautical miles, then they are covering 13 to 200. Why did they have to make life so much complicated? They could have said 0 to 200 அவ்வளவுதான் முடிஞ்சு போச்சு. எதுக்குடா ரெண்டு செப்பரேட் டெஃபினிஷன்? They could have come and said why not do it from 0 to 200? Yes or no? இதுக்கு தேவையில்லாம 0 to 13 ஒரு செப்பரேட் லிம்ப், 13 to 200 ஒரு செப்பரேட் லிம்ப், எதுக்கு இவ்வளவு கஷ்டம்? The answer lies in the word which I used. The answer lies in the word which I used. The first word which I used is territorial waters, meaning this waters pertain to the territory of India. Water pertains to the territory of India. The next word I used is exclusive. What do you mean by exclusive economic zone? Use the words, break the English. Break the English, tell me. Exclusive means exclusive. Economic means what? What is economics? My foundation. Huh? What is economics? We have a certificate at home. Economics is the area where you earn profits. Economics is the area where you earn profits. Zone means zone. Basically, the exclusive economic zone is the area where you can only do transactions of profit. But you can only do transactions of profit. Beyond that, you cannot do anything. Meaning, a person cannot go and stay there. Cannot go stay there. Meaning, up to 0 to 2 nautical miles. Tomorrow, Anil Ambani comes and says, boss, I am very rich. I want to create an island for myself. I want to create an island for myself. I will give him permission to create the island only up to 12 nautical miles. I will only give him permission to go up to 12 nautical miles. Beyond 12 nautical miles, I will come and say, boss, here you can only do transactions. You can only go there, give your transactions and come back. You cannot go and stay there. You cannot go and stay there. That is called as an exclusive economic zone. Beyond 200 nautical miles, it is called as beyond 200 miles, it is called as international waters. Beyond 200 nautical miles, it is called as international waters. Clear? Any doubts? No? 3 things. One is called as territorial waters, exclusive economic zone, international waters. Clear? Yes. For the purpose of India, we cover territorial waters, exclusive economic zone, land mass of India, then airspace above, mass below. Doubts? Doubts? Clear? Yeah, clear. Para. 100%. Our question கேட்டா சொல்வீங்களா? சாரிமா, அவருக்கு பதில் கேட்டா கேட்பீங்களா? I said what? It is airspace above the air. It's airspace above the air. Yes. My question is, what happened is I am a little bored. Elon Musk level nanu. Okay. I had a NASA ship with me. What I did? I'm in space now. Is there airspace? It's beyond space. Meaning now I am in the universe. Elon Musk sitting there with another person sitting there. We both enter into a transaction, make some sales. But the airspace is exactly below India. India ku அப்படியே ஸ்ட்ரைட்டா போயிருக்கேன். Yeah, not India. Not India. Yeah, you have gone beyond the airspace. Idi mala you cannot decide because you might be going straight, but the moment you are going straight, Earth is rotating. The moment Earth is rotating, you have gone out of exit. You have gone out of India. Adukapro income tax officer cannot bring another space shuttle, come to you, stand with you, and say, no. Right now you are abhi the sunrise eppadi varudhu paru. Not possible. Okay, there it becomes beyond India. There it becomes beyond India. There it is not applicable. There it is. Here. Anna. Too much theory, no? Like that only. Like that only. It's basically me not getting into the subject even now. Still not into the subject. I'm still trying to skim what is foundation for you. அப்படி புரிஞ்சாதான் இங்க வர முடியும். Because when I start income tax, இதெல்லாம் புரியாம நான் போனா காலியா போயிடும். Nothing you will understand. Okay? We are still not understanding what is the still not got into it. Yes, I told you, for the next 3 days, this is what is going to happen. You're going to sit to stare at my face and answer me. That's all. You have now completed section 1. No. You have completed short title, stint to commence in Income Tax Act 19. We are commencing Income Tax Act 1960 from 1st April of 1962. ஆக்ட் 1961 கமெண்ட்ஸ் 1962 ஆகுது, ஒன்றும் புரியல. அதே மாதிரி ரூல்ஸும் 1962 போட்டோம், கரெக்டா? அதுக்கு யூ குட் ஹவ் டோல்ட் இன்கம் டாக்ஸ் ஆக்ட் 1962, கரெக்ட் தானே? No. We enter the subject, I'll let you hold the discussion. We are not discussing right now. This is a question for you on hold. This is a question for you on hold. The question which I put on hold last time also, this time also. Why the hell is there 1962 when the act was brought in 1961? Hold the discussion. We will discuss when we go. Clear? Yes. With this, we are done with Income Tax Act. We are also done with Income Tax Finance Act. I don't have to explain you what is rules. You understand what is rules. What do you mean by rules? What do you mean by rules? Huh? Any kind of procedural activities created for the purpose of implementing the act. For the purpose of implementing the act. Normal standard definition. Normal standard definition for the purpose of implementing the act. Question to you. Can rules override act? Can rules override act? Can act come and say 1 plus 1 is 2, but rules say 2 plus 2 is 1? Yes or no? Rules gets power from act. Rules gets power from act. If act says something and rules overrides it, rules will become invalid. Use a word for that. Huh? More word. Learned it in foundation. Learned it in foundation. Let's play. நானே கொடுக்கணுமா? Becomes ultra vires. Becomes ultra vires because what you have given itself is invalid. What you have given itself is invalid, becomes ultra vires. Okay, that is what the rule is. The point is, rules are subordinate to. Subordinate to. But rules will be created by administrative body. So we need to define what is an administrative body. In us, the ministry is called as Ministry of Finance. But Ministry of Finance will create a special body for income tax. That body of income tax is called as CBCT. Can someone help me with the full form? Very good. It's called as Central Board of Direct Taxes. Going forward, if someone comes and asks you, who defined the rules of income tax, you will say, clear? Adhe mari, if you have to go to Companies Act, who defines the rules? Again, ministry. Who defines the rules? It is ROC, Register of Companies. If you are in indirect tax, it is done by CBIC. Done by CBIC. First two words you know. Central Board. Next word is called as Indirect Tax and Customs. Central Board of Indirect Tax and Customs. These are the bodies which you have. These are the bodies which you have. For Income Tax Act, the rules are defined by Central Board of. Clear till now? Clear till now? We have completed the last 2-3. Act, Finance Act, rules. Next is circulars, and Karthik told you we'll discuss later. Discuss later. You want to discuss with me? Yes. Okay. See, I don't know what is a circular and notification. Speaking, I don't know what is circular and. Let me give you a simple example. I'm going to draw a drawing. Draw a drawing. Use your imagination. Tell me what it is. Use your imagination. Anyone can use whatever imagination you want. You're honestly open to tell whatever you want. I need a name along with what do you want. Sand. Fair enough. Next. Juice. Name? Lakshita. Juice. Any specific juice or juice? Mango juice. Next. Next, open imaginations. All creative people, ma. Adda. Ada Sandra, rendu undu. Anyone else? It's okay, anything is fine. Huh? Sorry? Okay. Name. Ram. Ram says it's a drawing. Honestly, it is, but okay. Ella. Nice drawing. Huh? Name? Kveshta. Kveksha. Why does everyone have weird names here? L. Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else? I'm still not getting that kind of excitement which I'm looking for. Something which I'm expecting from someone. Everyone looks like very clean, pure people. Marida? I don't know if you're insulting the drawing or what. Liquor. Yellow color liquor, which one is it? Vodka. Vodka. Hey, you have given ma. Use another name. Bacardi. Yeah. Probably. This, medical sample. That's all. Great. Let's look at a story. What is happening is this is something which is created. I'm sitting in India. India right now in Chennai. I'm moving from direct tax to indirect tax. From direct tax to indirect tax. This is something which I created. Okay? I'm like that Shark Tank guy, something new I've created. I'm going to Shark Tank and I'm going to pitch for it. Instead of pitching to the sharks, I'm going to pitch to my indirect tax department. What happened is I'm sitting here in Chennai. I created this model. But I did not understand what is the GST rate on it. Not understand the GST rate. What happened is I went to my Chennai officer. And I told him, sir, this is the model which I've created. And I am not able to understand what is the GST rate on it. Please guide me. Because you are my officer, what you say is what is the final answer. What you say is what is my final answer. So I went to my Chennai officer. He looked at it and he first came and said, Rahul, this looks like a drawing. You drawing then and you did not give me the sample, you gave me the drawing. This looks like a drawing. Drawing is chargeable at the rate of 2% in GST. Chargeable at the rate of 2% in GST. I looked at his face, I'm like, the model I wanted to give an actual product to you. Sample drawing but then I was like, okay, boss, he's not ready to accept. So I went and I came back and I created a structure itself. I created the actual product and I showed it to him. Sir, this is the actual product. Now tell me the GST rate. He looked at it and he came and said, Rahul, looks like a mango juice. GST rate is showing 10%. Food items, 10% GST. Hypothetical numbers, not the rate. Okay, I think food products are sold at 5% GST, but hypothetically, this is 10% rate. I said, okay, 10%. Okay. But then what happened is he was going to take it to his mouth. Like something looks wrong, you take it back. Take it back because he had a problem with this. He did not drink it, but he said 10% GST rate. I left it off there itself. I went home, I started manufacturing the product. Now I'm selling it at a GST rate of 10. 2 months later, what happened? That officer exited. New officer has come. The new officer is Mrs. Rashmita. She comes, she becomes my officer. She looks at the product, she comes and says, Rahul, that officer said mango juice, but he did not drink it. When I'm smelling it, something looks wrong. Looks like a medical sample. This is not something which should be sold. But it looks like a medical sample and medicals are exempted from GST. Therefore, GST for you becomes zero. I'm extra happy now because earlier I was paying GST of 5% or 10%. Now I'm paying GST of nothing. I boomed my business very big. My business became multifold. Okay. Now I did what? I became a multifold business. Will I stick to Chennai? I started moving out. So I started moving out. Veksha, where are you from? Chennai. Any other place you like? Kerala. So I built a new factory in Kerala. I started manufacturing this product in Kerala also. Do you think Rishmita will still be my officer in Kerala? So what happened? Sweksha became my officer in Kerala. I went to her and I said, this is my product. I am exempted from GST as per Rishmita's understanding. Sweksha came and said, no, this looks like a well for me. This looks like a well for me. Just that you have created a miniature well. Will evlo persa irukon ivlo kunda well potirka. Okay? You have created a small well for me which is used for villages and all. GST rate should be 7%. One product. Chennai I am selling it at 0%. Kerala I am selling it at Seri, no problem. I said 7%, no big number. I left it off. Now I went to another country. Now I'm starting to sell somewhere in US. Okay. For which what will happen? I will get a new officer on export level. On export level, I got a new officer. Saitya became my officer on an export level. On an export level, she became my officer. I went and I said, ma'am, I'm selling this in US. She looked at my product. She came and said, Rahul, something is there in the middle. And the red that is nothing but stones. Adanana, this is nothing but sand. You're literally selling sand to US. You're selling what? You're selling sand to US. I want the GST rate to be 28% because this is luxury. This see my pain? I'm not showing it, but yeah, I'm crying inside. One product I created, ma. That product started from 2, went to 0, came to 7, now became 28 also. One product. Because of what? Because of you people. When I say you people, officers. Imagine the same happening in the market also. No? Possible, not possible. Everyone is a human being. Someone can say it is sand, someone can say something else. What will happen to me? I will be in a mess, no? I have made only one product and I should have only one rate on it, yes or no? But if this one rate, everyone in the world comes and says no, differently, then what will I do? I cannot come and say, boss, in Chennai I will sell it for 0, there I will sell for 7, there I will sell for 28. Yes or no? No. I cannot keep multiple books and keep it, no. At the end of the day, it's one product only. I need a clarification. Yeah? Clarification. Whom will I approach? Will I come and call Narendra Modi, sir, tell me what is my product? I will come and say, boss, your officers are making a problem. Whose officers? GST officers are making a problem. For GST officers, there is one superior boss sitting in. Where? Who is the boss of everyone, ma? CBIC. There is a person sitting in CBIC. I'll go to that CBIC person and I'll come and say, CBIC, sir, I don't know what to do. Your officers are making life a mess for me. One is saying 0, one is saying 2, one is saying 28. You tell me what the answer is. You tell me what the answer is. Question to you. CBIC officer is going to give a rate to you. Let's say, for example, he said none of the above. I like a new rate. This is 12%. The boss of everyone. Final rate becomes. Question to you. The 12 is for you or for the officers? Is he, as the boss, clarifying that the rate should be 12% for you or for the officers? If you have to give something for your officers, you will issue it by way of circular and notification. You've all been to school? Yes, you have a board. That board they'll come and say, circular number so and so. This is to notify the students and the teachers of the school. Students and teachers of the school. Nee and the notice board la podradhu is for the school or is for other schools? You put it as circular or notification? This officer is doing it for his officers or for me? Will be circular notification. Whole thing will be solved by way of a clear? Circulars are basically those kind of items given by the CBDT of income tax to its own officers, clarifying an issue which is there in the law. Clarifying an issue in the law and giving him a guidance on how to proceed on this. Question to you. The CBIC officer has said this is 12%. Said this is. But somewhere you had a soft corner with Rishimna because she gave you 0%. Will you agree to 12%? Just because someone is sitting in CBIC officer, you will come and say, Nida Devta, Nida Sonna fine la. Or will you go and dispute? Can you dispute? Yes, you can dispute, which means tomorrow if the CBIC officer comes and says it is 12%, can you come and say, I don't want to do it, I want to use some other rate? Possible, not possible? Question to you, is the circular binding on you? But is the circular binding on the officers? Can the officer come and say, நீ யாரா பேசுறது, நீ என்னோட boss இருந்தாலும் நான் வேற போடுவேன்? முடியுமா? Circulars are only binding on department. Circulars are only binding on department. Upon the question which I asked you, boss, I did not want it to be 12%, I wanted to be a lower rate. How will I get it clarified? How will I get it clarified? Hey, you have told me it is 12. From an officer perspective, you told me it is 12. But I want to dispute it. Where will I go and dispute? Very good. Very good. I will go to the courts. That is where judicial body comes into play. Okay? If the administrative body is not in your support, you will go and fight with the judicial body. Clear till now? Need doubts anyone? Doubts? All good? Circular basically means clarifications given by the CBDT for its own officers. For its own officers is only binding on, not binding on taxpayers. Binding on taxpayers. Any doubts now? Doubts? All clear? Scenario number 2. Scenario number 2. You are right now in Chennai. Want to file your income tax return. File your income tax return. Want to file your income tax return. What happened is you were about to file your income tax return on 31st July. On 31st July, suddenly COVID hit. Not able to file. What will happen? What will happen? You will go to the CBDT and come and say, sir, I wanted to file it on 31st July, but I could not file it on 31st July because of a problem. Please do what? Extend the due date. Or no? Or no? Tomorrow, officer CBDT is going to extend the due date only for you, for everyone in the world. For everyone in the world. Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no? Tomorrow, he extended the due date, made it 31st August. Made it 31st August. Can the department come and say, nee yaarra solradhu, I want 31st July only from my assessing office, from my department, from my taxpayer? Solla mudiyuma? Is notification binding on department? Yes or no? Yes. Option number 2. I as an employee, I as a taxpayer went and said, nee yaarra pandrathu, I wanted 30th September, nee kuduthathu 31st August, I want one more month. Solla mudiyuma? Mudiyuma mudiyada? Can the taxpayer go and say, I wanted till 30th September, you gave me only till 31st August, I will take till 30th September? Solla mudiyuma? Avlo authority irukku avangita? Can you as a taxpayer go and say, CBDT, why the hell did you extend till 31st August? I wanted till 30th September. I will only file on 30th September. Solla mudiyuma mudiyada? Which means if we gave a 30th August due date, that due date becomes applicable to you, yes or no? It becomes applicable on department, yes or no? Notifications are binding on department, true or false? Notifications are binding on taxpayers, true or false? Clear? 2 items, circulars, notifications. Circulars only binding on department, notifications binding on both the department and taxpayers. Notification is for me to notify something to you. For me to notify something to you. It can be in the form of a due date extension, notifying something, or amending the rules. Tell me, rules applicable on only assessing officer or taxpayer? Both. Rules are applicable for both. Which means if I want to make modifications to the rules, I will make it by way of. Clear? Clear? If you want to make an amendment to the rules, hey, if you want to make an amendment to the act, you will pass a. You will pass what? Pass a bill. If you want to make an amendment to the act, you will pass a bill. If you want to make an amendment to the rules, you will pass a. So who will pass a bill? Parliament. Who will pass a rule? Very good. Sir, from whatever discussion we did till now, this is the only thing relevant for exam. From your MCQ perspective, if a question comes, circulars are binding on option number A, assessee, option number B, assessing officer, option number C, assessee and assessing officer, option number D, none of the above. Okay? Clear? Notifications are not binding on A, assessee, B, assessing officer, C, assessee and assessing officer, D, none of the above. Any doubts? Circulars are issued by CBDT. Notifications are issued by CBDT or central government. Circulars deal with specific problems or clarifying the doubts regarding the scope and meaning of any provisions in the Act. Notifications are given for what? They are giving effect to special provisions of the Act, either a due date extension or classifying someone or etc. etc. Circulars are binding only on department. Notifications are binding on both assessees and department. Clear till now? Clear till now? You are got a circular. Have got a circular. CBIC has given a circular to you saying the GST rate is 12%. It is 12%. You have an option to choose, not to choose. Correct? No. If you don't want to choose, you will go to courts. You'll go to court. But what happened is the officer who was sitting in CBIC was actually Rishmita only. He got promoted from Chennai office to become the CBIC officer, which means you went to Rishmita and you said, Rishmita, in Chennai you told me 0. Can you make it 0 for me there also? He said, yes, boss, you are my friend, make it 0 here. So now what has happened? Rishmita has passed a circular saying the GST rate on this item is 0. Is the department liable to follow? Will the assessee come and at any given point of time say, boss, no, I think circulars are only binding on department, I will not follow, I will keep safe and I will pay 28%? Or no? Means, can an assessee also opt the benefit of circulars? While it is not binding on the assessee, it can also use the benefit provided it is beneficial. If it is not beneficial, what will you do? Go to the courts. If it is beneficial, take it. If it is not beneficial, go and fight in the court. And department cannot do that. Department is on a final order. That's clear. Any doubts? Now we are done with the 5 items. Act, rules, pillars, notifications, case laws. I am not discussing case laws because it is in a very, very layman terms. Case laws means those places where you go and fight. When? Fight. Who's fighting? I am fighting with the department. Or department is fighting with me. Either way. The assessing officer is fighting with the taxpayer or the taxpayer is fighting with the... This is the place where you go and settle your disputes. From income tax perspective, while it is not relevant for your syllabus, I am just clarifying. The appellate forum works like this. If you are not happy with your assessing officer, the first person you will go and file an appeal is against CIT. What is CIT? Very good. It's called Commissioner of Tax. If you are not happy with the CIT, you will go and file an appeal to ITAT. Okay, first 2 words you know. First 2 words is income tax. Third word is appellate. Fourth word is tribunal. Have you heard tribunal before this? Where have you heard it? CLT. You would have heard it in LCLT for companies. For companies, there is a tribunal called as CLT. For us, there is a tribunal called as ITAT. For us, it is called as ITAT. We are not happy with ITAT. Next forum you will go to is High Court. Next forum you will go to is High Court. Not happy with High Court. Not happy with Supreme. Can review with the Supreme Court again, but not happy, that's all. What to do? Can be done. Thing can be done. Whatever Supreme Court passes is called as the law of the new land. Supreme Court passes is called as a law of the new land. Supreme Court has the authority to overrule an act also. Supreme Court has an authority to overrule an act also, but Act has an authority to overrule Supreme Court also. Has an authority to overrule Supreme Court. Understand, Supreme Court is nothing but a judicial body. Which means it can interpret what is there in the Act, yes or no? Can interpret what is there in the Act. Today, Act says 1 plus 1 is 2. Supreme Court said, boss, if 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 minus 1 is also 2. 3 minus 2 is also 3 minus 1 is also 2. Yes, today you said 1 plus 1 is 2. Supreme Court said 3 minus 1 is also 2. What has it done? It has interpreted the law which you created. Tomorrow, if the Act comes and says, no, boss, let's make 3 minus 1 as 4. Is the Supreme Court decision still valid? Supreme Court interpreted what was there in the law that time. If the law itself has changed, Supreme Court's interpretation has gone out of the picture. Understand? Supreme Court only interprets what is there in the act today. If the act itself has been modified, Supreme Court's decision becomes valid. Supreme Court's decision becomes invalid. There becomes a new law. Now what you need to do? Now you need to again go and follow the same process. The law does not change, in the case law stands valid. As long as you don't hamper the ego of the income tax department, things will be safe. Okay? If a Supreme Court has given a decision and ego is not hurt of income tax department, the law will still stand, the case law will still stand. The day income tax department's ego is hurt, you are gone. Because next month will come, next year will come amendment. Next year will come amendment. They will amend saying whatever Supreme Court said is useless, I am giving you new laws in the vechiko. Now if the law itself has been changed, Supreme Court's decision becomes. That is what we are going to discuss. That is what we are going to discuss. A lot of places I will come and tell you, boss, law was like this. Supreme Court said this. Income tax department ego clash. Income tax department changed the law itself. Now, which is superior? Okay. Supreme Court is only superior till the extent the law does not change. The moment the law changes, it is invalid. Is clear or not clear? Clear? How the appellate forum works. How the appellate forum works. You start from CIT, go to ITAT, go to High Court, go to. Can you go beyond Supreme Court? Yes. Can you go beyond Supreme Court? Yes. Only for international matters. For international matters, there is something called as international arbitration. There is also something called as international arbitration. You can go there, provided it is a global dispute. Provided it is a global dispute, you can go there. Otherwise, they will not permit you inside. Otherwise, they will not permit you inside. I don't know if you people have heard about it. There was a very famous issue of Vodafone. About it. There was a very big dispute going on Vodafone. The amount involved was around 14,800 crores worth of tax. What? 14,800 crores worth of tax, not income tax. Tax itself was 14,800 crores worth. What happened is Supreme Court overruled it. Supreme Court said Vodafone has to pay 0 rupees. Supreme Court said Vodafone has to pay 0 rupees. Ego of whom hurt? Income tax department hurt. This decision came in 2008, I think. This decision came in 2008. In 2008, Supreme Court came and said Vodafone has to pay 0 rupees. What happened next year? Either it was 2008 or 2012. Next year, amendment came in the act. They came and said whatever Supreme Court said is wrong. We want the act to be like this. We want the act to be like this. Vodafone came and said, okay, you want the act to be like this, it will apply only from 2012. Only apply from 2012. I will still not pay 0 rupee for it. I will not still pay single rupee for it. They said, no. I am changing the act not from 2012. I am changing it from 1961. It's called a retrospective amendment. It's called a retrospective amendment. The president that time, I think it was, remember the name. I think it was Manmohan Singh. I think it was Manmohan. That time what our president of India said, sir, actually when the lawmakers in 1961 created the law, no, they thought about this, but they forgot to put it. It's a genuine mistake. Don't put a blame on me. No problem, sir. We are rectifying our mistake. We are changing it from 19. Please accept our mistake. They will amend it from 1960. Now we have to pay tax today. Happened, Supreme Court decision got overruled, and Vodafone was now given a notice to pay. Has to pay 21,000. Yeah, pa. Was no, not 1961. The issue was cropped up in 2008. The issue was cropped up in 2008. By the time you reach Supreme Court, it became 2012. 4 years, income tax did not receive the money. 4 years, income tax did not receive the money. Income tax came and said, you withheld my tax, which means I gave you a loan. You need to pay me interest. So 14,000 now became. They asked from the department. They asked from Vodafone 21,000 crores. He went to income tax. He went to global tribunal. They went to the global tribunal. They came and said, and that too, it was not Vodafone India. It was Vodafone Netherlands. They went and they issued a notice in Netherlands saying, Netherlands, you come to India, pay me 21,000 tax. He went and he put a case against them. Case against whom? India. India against case. They put a case against India in the international tribunal. The international arbitration, it's called. In the international arbitration. I think somewhere last year in COVID times only, 2021, I think. 2021, tribunal came and said, what India is doing is nonsense. You are de-promoting people to come to India. If you do this, tomorrow no one will come to India. Modi came to the government, they came and said, sir, today itself I will amend. This was the first time when the act was amended in the middle of the year. In the middle of the year, they passed an ordinance and they said, boss, no, I'm sorry. Vodafone work the case, it's applicable only from 2013. Sir, it is not applicable retrospective. Let not Vodafone pay a single rupee. Adla what they came and said, idla vera BJP is smart. They came and said, sir, and the law yaar change panna? Congress. We are what? We are taxpayer friendly. The mistake which Congress did, we will not do. So we will rectify what Congress made a mistake. So now we are amending it prospectively. Therefore, we are rectifying what Congress did. We will ensure everything is good for you. They played it very smart. 2021 amendment ordinance came in the middle of the year. Middle of the year, Nirmala Sitharaman comes and says, sir, I'm sorry for the mistake which India did. Do not spoil India's name. I will amend the law today itself. Today itself, they amended the law. They made it prospective. They say, Vodafone, please go home. Don't pay single rupee to me. I don't want a single rupee from me. And my ego is more important than your money. Keep it with yourself. Left and they went. Vodafone never came back to India after that. Vodafone itself shut down India. Point is, things work very differently when it comes to laws. You go, you fight the world and come back. That is how you can do. Okay. It's not that just because something is there in the law, it means it's the final authority. You can make whatever decisions you want. That is where you stand. CAs are the one who make the decision in life. Tomorrow, a normal taxpayer will come and say, what? Law says me to pay 100 rupees, I will pay 100 rupees. Where you stand, you will come and say, no, sir, I think there is an option where you can pay less than 100. You think that will come that easy? Just because you are a CA, you say 80 rupees, department will come and say, I'm a Panida Devta, 80 rupees now. What will he say? I want 100 only. What will you do then? You will say, sir, don't worry, I will get you 100. What will you do? You will go fight on his behalf. There. For that also you will charge him. Obviously. You are putting your time and efforts, no? So you will go, you charge him, you will come and say, sir, I am going and fighting in the court for you. I will ensure it is 80 only. I say 80, I'm not saying 80 rupees, I'm talking about 80 crores. That is where the big number comes. So I will go, I will fight in the court and I'll come and say, sir, I will make it 80 crores for you. You go to the courts, you fight, you get it 80 crores for him. What will happen? You are also one. Department also ego gone. You are also superior enough. Tomorrow you can go to the public and come and say, sir, I went and I spoiled the India market and came. Why not? That is where you stand. It is not about you doing the right thing. It's about you doing the legally wrong thing. Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes, clear? Done. This is the only introduction which I wanted to give you. Now we are starting with a subject called as till now. Any doubts? Be open, let me know. No? Till now, whatever you learned, nothing is relevant for exam. I'll make it extremely clear right away. What you have learned till now is nothing relevant for exam. You can as much as blindly ignore it also. You're free to do it. The only reason I wanted to spend so much time, I'm spending so much time taking off my hours and doing it because I want you to understand where you're getting into. Okay? Things do not work as simple as you read a provision, you go and you vomit in the exam and come, not pass. Things go very differently when it comes to facts. You need to understand where you're standing. Okay? Everything has a what, why, and where. It is only when you realize what is the what is the why, and what is the where. There is where you can do things. Okay? I know things have gone boring until now. You're staring at my face, everything is happening. I know, but it was important. If something has gone into your head and you have understood a bit of it, that is enough for you. Okay? Things will go very exciting from now on. I'll ensure you that. Things will go very exciting because now we are entering the subject. Now is where I'm getting into my strong area. Now things will go very exciting, but until now, are you okay with what we have discussed? Is things clear? Have we established your foundation back? Your foundation is established from my side. From my side, whatever I want to tell you that what you have done wrong in foundation is what I've rectified right now. From now, I will tell you what you do in inter is wrong. From now, what I'll tell you is balance 7 subjects, 7.5 subjects. I'm doing only half of the subject. Balance 7.5 subjects, what you learn, that is wrong is what I'm going to discuss. So going forward, my classes will be smaller, it will be lower, because I'll expect other faculties to first come and teach you something. The faculty teaches you something, you know something, then only I can tell you something else. Or else what will happen? I will teach you something, then you'll go to the faculty and say, no, Rahul told me wrong, you told me right, I don't know. So I will tell you that he is wrong and I am right. Point is, and let's enjoy it. Yes or no? Yes. Until now, any doubts? No doubts. All clear? Clear? Pakka clear? Great. We are now entering the subject called as. Let's start with the same sequence. Let's start with the same sequence. We started with section number 1. Spoke about short title, extent and commencement. Short title, extent and commencement. Now we are getting into section number 2, which talks about definition. Do I have to explain it to you right now? Because definitions do not have a link. As we speak the law, as we do a provision, if there is a word required for the definition, I will go back to the definition. I don't have to explain you the definition right now. Now we are into section number. We are into section number. Any section which always starts with a charging section. You heard this word before this? Starts with a charging section. Have you heard this word before this? Yeah. When you did Contract Act, before you started the Contract Act, there was 2 lines which would have been given to you. Where they said for any acceptance there should be a consideration, etc., etc. And the end line vechidan the multiple chapters would have started. So no. That is called as a charging section. That is called as a charging section. This section will basically come and say what exactly does this act do? Exactly does it? We are into the charging section. Charging section is actually section number 4. Charging section is. What do you mean by a charging section? Logic is very simple. This is the mother section of the Income Tax Act. The mother section of Income Tax Act. This section gives the powers to Income Tax Act to levy income tax. This section gives the powers to income tax to levy, which means if the powers are not given in this section, you cannot levy income tax. Yeah. Yes. Let's read these 2 lines. Let's read this. The 2 lines reads, income tax shall be charged on the total income earned by a person during a previous year at the rates in force and shall be assessable in the income tax shall be charged on the total income of a person during the previous year and shall be accessible for such person in that assessment. Clear? Yes. Do you understand the 2 lines? Kind of. This 2 lines is the next 5 classes. This 2 lines is the discussion of our next 5 classes because we are going to break the 2 lines into multiple. Read the 2 lines. Tell me what are the words you don't know. We don't know what is rates in force. What else do we don't know? Do you understand everything else in the section? Sorry? Assessment here. Accessible. Everything else is clear? Everything else is clear? Huh? Total income. Previous year. Huh? Very good. Person. Understand it? Out how? Tell your boyfriend to go and you are only earning, no? You are earning from him, he is earning from outside. Or you want to pay tax on him? Any other word? Any other word? Any other word? I will answer the easiest ones for you right now. Income tax means income tax. I can't tell you anything beyond. What is income tax? Income tax is what you see in this act, that's all. I don't know what to explain. Okay. Next word. I need to define what is a. As I complete, I will keep reducing it. The first item which I have to define is what is a. You have already learned this definition somewhere. No? You already learned this definition. Contract act. Where we learn this? Person includes organization, sir. What is organization? Person includes company, HUF, firm, then LLP. Still refreshing foundation. Huh? Yes, yes. Person includes. I heard company, then I heard company, firm. When you say firm, firm also includes LLP. Then HUF. Then individual, obviously. Then club. Club na the DJ. Next. Next. That's all? That's all? Have you heard something about AOP? Something about BOI? Something about local authority? Something about AJP? No? No? This is all the definition of a person means. All the definition of person means. Understand, person is an inclusive definition in Income Tax Act. What is it? An inclusive definition under Income Tax Act. Inclusive means it includes this, can also be something else. Start from the top. You have something called as individual, meaning sole person. Na? You say someone you're soulless, na, not individual. Natural human. Natural person, this is also person only da. Adha person da parchin irukum. Sorry da? Correct. See, when you say natural person, natural company is also company only. What do you mean by natural person? Person itself is what this definition is. It's a debatable question. An individual means a natural human being, means it includes male, female, any trans, LGBTQs. Then, does it include child? Does it include child? Tomorrow, if you go and earn lottery income, no tax for you. Tomorrow, my dad earned a lottery income. He said, Rahul, if I earn the lottery, I will get taxed. Do one thing, you take the ticket, you go in cash, no tax for you. Correct? Huh? Included, not included? Included, definitely included. Hey, all this child incompetent and all contract act. எனக்கு பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் எனக்கு டாக்ஸ் வேணும் எப்படி இருந்தாலும் நீ எனக்கு ஓகே இன்கம் டாக்ஸ் பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் யூ ஆர் அன் இண்டிவிஜுவல் அன்சவுண்ட் மைண்ட் ஆல்சோ ஐ டோன்ட் கேர் நீ இன்கம் earn பண்ணியா எனக்கு டாக்ஸ் பே பண்ணிட்டு கிளம்பிட்டு போயிடு அவ்வளோ just because you are a minor and all does not mean you will not pay tax and all, then in that case every avoidance will start happening. Okay, contract and all you can avoid. Here you're talking about money, and who's losing money? Government will never lose money. Correct? Yes. Child covered. Yes. Covered, not covered? You have to tell me. Covered, not covered? As of now, not covered. As of now, not covered. The understanding is that the robot is created by human beings. So if the robot is earning some income, it is the income of the. There could become a generation when robots will start creating kids and all. That time we'll discuss later. As of now, that is not the practice. As of now, that is not the practice. That is the reason why it is. Is the reason why it is includes. Tomorrow things can happen. Tomorrow things can happen. Clear? Bye. Same logic. They don't use their own head. Apparently, we use more head. Yes, they say, humans have become animals, animals have become humans. Yes, we are using their part of the head, it seems. So, adanale, this is also an income which is earned by the human. So, therefore, human will pay the tax on the animal income. Something. Yes, this is how the logic is. So, this is also not covered as of now. Yes, tomorrow if they start getting their own sixth sense and they can start working on their own, things will go differently. That is why the inclusive. Doubts till now. No, this is what is an individual. Next was. Start on the right. Start on the right. Next is quickly. What do you mean by HUF? Going forward, when I say what, I do not mean abbreviation. What na what? A Hindu family joining together to carry out a business is called as a undivided family. How do you become a member of the HUF is my question. By birth. Okay. So let's say, for example, this is Rahul. See, this is Rahul. Tomorrow I might get married. Might. Yes. Rahul gets married. This is R. Rahul plans to create a HUF. Is Mrs. R a member of HUF? Not born by birth. She become a member of HUF. Mrs. R a member of HUF. Why yes, sir? Then technically HUF does not mean only by birth. Yes or no? Yes. He is. Why? I'll tell you later. Okay. Sir, good. R married Mrs. R. He becomes a member of the HUF. Get a son and a daughter. Both are there. Get a son and a daughter. Son, member of HUF. Yes or no? Daughter. Yes. Yeah. Son marries wife. Daughter marries husband. Son's wife. Member of HUF, not HUF. Member of HUF, not member of HUF. Yes. Daughter's husband. You are very confused. Daughter's husband. No. Son and son's wife. Get a son and a daughter. Son covered, not covered. Son's son covered. Son's daughter. Yes. Daughter's husband have son and a daughter. Daughter's son covered. Daughter's daughter. Meaning HUF establishes when there is someone born into the family or brought into the family. What? Someone born into the family or brought into the family. Understand in the first scenario, when I married Mrs. R was brought into the family. So she became a member of the HUF. Son and the daughter of me got established into the family by birth. Therefore, they are a member of. The moment son married a wife, he was brought into the family, so she became a member of the. The moment the daughter married a husband, daughter became a family of. Daughter entered the other person's family. Daughter entered the other person's family. So now the daughter is a HUF member of my family and his family. Both. I'm not asking. The daughter is a HUF of my family and his family, but the daughter's husband will never come into my family. Daughter's husband will never come to my family because it is a new family which they have created. If he wants, he can create his own HUF and start, but he cannot come a member of mine. You're not. Yes. Son's son and daughter, birth by family, so therefore okay. Daughter's childs are born into the other family. You're not. The concept. Okay. HUF means partnership created between a Hindu family by birth or by bringing into the family or by bringing into the family. Any doubts now? Doubts? Here, question to you. I gave birth to a son and a daughter, but I also adopted one son and a daughter. Adoption. Adoption of a son and a daughter. Question to you. They were not born into the family. Covered because they are brought into the. So it is not just by birth, it is also by. Again, this will only become a member of the family provided you legally adopt them. Provided you legally adopt them. Suddenly you find them on the road, you come and say, stick with my house. Legally, it will not become a HUF. You need to get it registered. You get it? But legally, if you adopt them, then it becomes a member of the HUF. Illegally, you just keep them in their home. You're giving them a shelter. It is nothing but you're giving them someone a place for rent. That's all. In that cases, they will not become a member of the. You're not clear. This is HUF. HUF, like you might have learned something called Dayabhaga, Mitakshara, HUF and all. Not relevant for exam. Basically, Mitakshara and Dayabhaga are some different types of HUFs. I think Dayabhaga is in West Bengal or Mitakshara is in West Bengal. One of them HUFs. Basically, what happens is in Dayabhaga school of thoughts, women's cannot become a karta of the HUF. They do not make the decisions. They do not make the decisions. Whereas in Mitakshara, even daughters make the decisions. That is what the criteria is. Not relevant because it's very controversial for me. Right? So not relevant for exam, ignore it. Here, one. Company. What is a company? What is a company? Very good. A company is anything formed under Companies Act 2013. Company is a company formed under Companies Act 2013 or any other previous company laws. That's all the answer. Okay. What you're telling on the artificial judicial person, separate legal entity, dissolution, this is all characteristics. I'm asking what is a company? Company is a company registered under Act. Nothing beyond that. Yeah. Next one. What is a firm? What is a firm? Group. Fine group. Two or more persons coming together. If you're carrying a business, then it means tomorrow if you and I open a CA firm, it is not a partnership. Because we are not carrying business, we're carrying profession. Yes. What is a partnership? Agreement is mandatory. That's what Indian partnership says. No, you legally register and partnership deed, then only it is valid. If not, you can still have a partnership, but it is not enforceable. Agreement mandatory. Yeah. Two or more persons coming together with an intention to earn profits. That's all. Then intention to earn profits. I'm not saying you should earn profits. I'm saying you should have an intention to earn profits. You incur losses, that's a different story. But the intention should be to earn profits, which means tomorrow you and I come together, come and say, boss, let's go outside and plant some 4 trees and come back. Are we into partnership? Why? An NGO. It will not be called as a item. AOP? UI. AOP full form? Association of persons. BOI full form? Body of individuals. Tell me, what are the meanings? What are the meanings? Idea? If it's a group, 2 or more persons coming together, then it is called as association of persons. If it's 2 or more individuals coming together, it is called as body of individuals. Simple as that. Simple as that. Let two or more persons, meaning, so you can come and say, boss, a company and a firm together joining will be called as AOP. Yes, a company and a firm joining together will be called as AOPs. A company and an individual joining together, there is still a person in there. There is still a person in there. It will be still called as AOPs. Appo, my question was, you said two or more individuals coming together is called as a BOI. And the same thing we said in partnership. Two or more individuals coming together is called as a partnership. Two or more individuals coming together is called as a BOI. How do you decide? BOIs are normally created by a force of law. BOIs are normally created by a simple example. Let's say, for example, you had a dad who had a 500 acres land. Had a 500 acres land. That dad has 4 kids. Yes? It's tomorrow he forgot to write a will and he passed away. Forgot to write a will and he passed away. What will happen? The 4 sons should have to get the land. 4 sons should have to get the land, but they don't know in what share they should get. Someone says I want 50%, someone says I want 25%, someone says I want full 100%. What will happen in this case? Go and fight in the court. Go and fight in the court, or you look for the will, But it's not just like that. Just like that, you have a will, you see 25%, everyone will get 25%. It has to be legally moved to you. Or not. It has to be legally moved to you. Until the legal movement happens by the court of law, all 4 together are the owners of the property. Yes or no? Or no? What will happen the moment the dad passes away? Court will come and say, boss, today this land belongs to all 4 of you. In what share? No share. All 4 of you. That's all. Belongs to all 4 of you. Tomorrow when the will gets executed, it will be split among yourselves. Till then, whatever happens in this land is the responsibility of all the 4 of you. In this case, 4 of them have come together. Yes or no? Yes or no? Have we enforced it? Did they have an intention to earn profit? We don't know. It could be, it could not be, it doesn't matter. They have come together by a force of law that is called as a body of individuals. The moment they get split because of the will, it will become individual parties. But until then, it becomes a body of individual. Why are we discussing this? Because let's say that land was given to someone for rent. Land was to someone for rent. You will earn income. You will earn income. All the 4 will earn income. Now the question is, which 4 should tax? Don't know which 4 to tax. So you cannot come and say, boss, this one I'll give this share, this one I'll give this share. You will say, boss, I'm creating a separate person called as BOI. I'm creating a separate person called as BOI. You pay your own respective taxes, but on the land level, the income will be taxed in the hands of BOI. Will be taxed in the hands of BOI. I've created a separate entity called as BOI. That BOI will pay its tax separately. Only until the time the law gets, the will gets doubts. Local authority. Local authority. Your municipality, panchayat, your water tax areas and called as local authority. Why are we covering them? Because they are state people. Okay? They cannot come and say, boss, state is earning taxes, so state will keep taxes, because income tax is governed by central is coming and saying, if state is earning income, state will also have to pay me tax. It will also have to pay me tax. Later on we'll find out everything is exempt for them. Later we'll find out everything is exempt from them, but as a person they are included as a part of local authority. Last item. Artificial jurisdiction. Very good. It's a person created by a law. Person created by a law. There is no substance to it. As such, it can be an individual, it can be a firm also, but it is created by a law. A simple example would mean person can be ICI. Because ICI is neither a company, neither a firm, neither an AOP, it's neither a BOI. Where did ICI get created? We created an act called as Indian Chartered Accountants Act 1949. In that Indian Chartered Accountants Act, we gave the authority, government gave the authority that you can create a special body called as ICAI. That special body is what is called as Apo Rahul, ICAI pays tax. They have excess of money to pay tax. You all know better. Every attempt you are paying extra fees to them. They have extraordinary money because every attempt they are like, okay, boss, this person will again come back and pay me fees only. Problem for me. Or no? Take it once and all. That's all. One time you pay exam fees, you clear, you come back. That's all. No additional fees. ICI has enough people, enough money to earn from others. They can earn from us also. Members also pay membership fees. You don't have to pay your exam fees again and again. But once and close it there itself. Yeah. We're done with the definition of. What else do you want? What else is left? What else is left? We have total income, previous year, assessment year, accessible. In the previous year, assessment year is the big discussion we are going to have. We'll have it in the next class. We'll have it in the next class. What we are going to discuss right now is accessible. What we are going to discuss right now is a simple definition. I'm not going to discuss much about it. I have exactly 10 minutes, so we'll close in the 10 minutes. Accessible is what we are going to discuss. Read the line and tell me where you see the word accessible and what do you understand by the word. Amount of income you have and the tax liability on that has to be assessed. Who will assess? Who will assess? Huh? What do you do every year? You earn income, you go to IT department, sit in that office and submit. So this is my income, you tell me what tax to pay. That's what. So every single individual or a person will go to the income tax department, their officer, and they'll come and say, sir, this is my income for the year. You tell me how much to pay, I will pay, correct? You put the income, they will compute tax. No? Question is, who's assessing the tax? Self-assessment. Self-assessment, you assess your own taxes. You assess your own taxes. Ideally, you assess your own taxes. You can take support from CAs and other people also. What the assessing officer is doing is he's verifying whether you have assessed it right or not. He is on the verification mechanism. He does not have the job to come and say, okay, boss, the 140 crore population come to me, sit in front of me, come and tell me, boss, sit. I will tell you what tax you should pay. You come and pay tax, not. Okay, they have better things to do in life, like sleeping. Government office, ma. Yeah. So basically, they came and said, boss, it's self-assessment. It's self-assessment. You decide your own taxes and you pay the taxes. I will come and verify whether your taxes are correct or not. Here, accessible has a definition called assessee. Accessible has a definition called. What happened is I was asked to assess my own taxes. Asked to assess my own taxes. Department is going to verify my taxes. Or no? No, no. So what happened is department came and told me, boss, I am going to verify your taxes. To verify your. I asked him one question. Who are you to do it? Who are you to? On what authority are you assessing my taxes? So therefore, they introduced a definition called as assessee, meaning the officer whose income is, the person whose income is being assessed will be now called as assessee, and the person who will verify your income will be called as assessing officer. Called as assessing officer. Today you are a assessee. Your verification is done by an assessing. So what happened is in income tax we created a new word called as assessee. We created a new word called as, and assessing officer came and said, boss, I am going to assess you, so you are my. So I asked him, sir, which is the scenario when I will become your assessee? You tell me. On what are the scenarios where you can check my taxes? So he said, when you are liable for tax, obviously. When will I come and check your tax? You are liable for tax. The first definition which came in assessee is assessee means any person who is liable to pay tax. Simple. Assessee means any person who is liable to pay. Great. Great. Stop there. I went and I said to the department, sir, I have filed my return. I have filed my return. My return says I have to pay a tax of 1 lakh rupees. How much? Lakh rupees. But I did not file my return on time. Therefore, you are asking me to pay penalty, interest. I have paid to the department only 1 lakh rupee. You asked me to pay how much? 1 lakh. I paid 1 lakh. There is additional item to be paid called as I did not pay. Did not? Assessing officer said what? I want to assess your income so that I ask you to pay penalty. I said, sir, hold. You are my assessee officer because you can only assess my tax. Where is the power for penalty? Have the power? Do you want to assess me? You can't assess me. Go to hell. Okay, income tax said my mistake. They changed the law. They said, boss, assessee means any person who's liable to pay tax or any other sum in this act. Or any other sum in this act, meaning interest, penalty, whatever it is. Now I am covered. Now I am covered. 1 year, I made a mistake. Next year, I am also smart. Next year, what I did is when I filed my return, I said, sir, my income is 0. Income is 0. So my tax is 0. My penalty is, interest is. Assessing officer said, hey, you want 5 lakh income this year? I'm like, yes. Yeah. He's like, Appa, where is the tax? You are liable to assess my, where is my tax? Did I show you tax? If I did not show you tax, where is the tax? If you want to assess my tax, there should be a tax. My income statement shows. If you want to change my income statement from 0 to 5 lakhs, you should be my assessing officer. Are you my assessing officer? Because you are my assessing officer only for, I have not paid. Where are you my assessing? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no? They changed the law and they said, boss, no. Assessing officer means, assessee means any person who's liable to pay tax and any other sum and includes any person who has earned income. Now I am an assessee for your income. So now, earlier I paid tax, you caught me. Then I paid penalty, you caught me. Then now I have income, you caught me. But I'm still safe. Next year what I'll do? Next year I showed my income statement is 5 lakhs loss. My income statement shows 5 lakh loss. He's saying, Rahul, you want 50 crores this year. I'm like, yes. Where is the tax? I will not give. I will show 5 lakhs loss. Where are you, my assessing officer? Badal correct then. You asked me for tax, I did not give. You asked me for income, I did not have. You asked me for other fees, I do not have. What do I have? I have loss. Be my assessing officer. What to do? Change the law. Now assessee also includes those people who have. Also includes those people who have. Read the definition. Assessee means any person by whom a tax or any other sum is payable under the act and includes every person in respect of whom a proceedings under this act has been taken for the assessment of his income or loss sustained by him. Clear till here? Yes, last question. I have a problem if I pay tax. I have a problem if I show income. I have a problem if I show losses. I filed a return. Which what I did is I showed income as 0. Showed an income of tax is also 0. Tax is also. I showed that, sir, I have paid extra tax to you of 5 lakh rupees, which means you need to give me back refund. To give me back. So the problem is my income is 0. My loss is, my tax is 0. My refund is 5 lakhs. Said, if I have income, you will catch me. If I have loss, you will catch me. If I have tax, you will catch me. I have neither of the three. What do I have? Where will you catch me? Correct, no? This is how we play with the law. I told you, interpretation works in very different scenarios. Now I interpreted and I said, sir, you can catch me for tax, you can catch me for income, you can catch me for losses, you cannot catch me for refund. Give me my 5 lakhs back. He has to give, no? Last line. Now I caught you there saying, sir, boss, no. If you have a refund also, I will check whether the refund is eligible or not. Now I caught you for, you are not. Last leg. You are Talking from the perspective of the payer. Let's change the angle. There is something called as TDS. Tax deducted at source. What do you mean by that? Suppose I am entering into a transaction with you. Where I am selling you 500 iPhones. You will pay me income, which means it's an income for me. But before you pay me the money for the 500 crores, you will actually deduct something called as TDS. You will deduct something called as TDS. Whose income is it? My income. Whose tax is it? My tax. But you are liable to deduct TDS. You're liable to deduct TDS. Now what happened? You have your own ego. You came and said, sir, income is his, tax is his, refund is also his, loss is also his. My responsibility is only to deduct his income and give you as tax. I did not do. What will you do? He said, no, Rahul, you should have done. I told you to do it. I did not do. What will you do? He said, I will catch hold of you. I'm like, where will you catch me? I am neither having income, neither having tax, neither having refund, neither having losses. It is his income, his tax, his income, his loss. Where will you catch me? Correct or not? Point itself went loss. I said, no, boss. Now I'm also covering another kind of people whose not income it is, but you are an assessee in default, meaning you were asked to do TDS. You are very not. You were asked to do TDS. You did not follow my orders, which means you have now defaulted. I will name you a new person called as assessee in default. So now I also covered those kind of people who are called as assessee in. Point number 2. What does it read? Every person deemed to be an assessee in default. Any doubts till now? No? In simple terms, what does an assessee mean? Assessee means any person who's liable for tax and any other sum. If that is not getting covered, cover is income. If that is not getting covered, cover is losses. That is also not getting covered, covered is refund. If that is also not getting covered, cover him as assessee in. Now I have covered everyone. Is there any option I am left open? Is there any option I have left open? No. This definition took them years to bring. Because once they brought, they said, boss, income will be enough. Sorry, tax will be enough. Then they said, no, tax is not happening. Income also required. Then they said, no, loss is also required. Now refund is also required. This is how law works. You see one line, how you interpret the line is your ability. You can make a loophole in that law, gone only income taxes. Then they will make changes. But until they make changes, you are still in a safe zone because for the next 5 years, you are playing with it. It's not like, today you found something, today you understood something, tomorrow itself then amend the law. It does not happen like that. Unless it's the big scale operations. They will at least think about it, take 10 more years to understand, oh, Rahul made this 10 years ago, now I'll make the change. And the 10 years you earned profit out of it, no. This is where you come into it. Yeah? Read the definition at home, you will understand it better. Assessment is what? See, if you are an assessee, assessing officer will do on you what? Assessment. So it reads assessment. Assessment means with a procedure by which an assessee is income is determined by the thing. What do you mean by assessing officer? The individual who assesses the assessee. Individual who carries out the assessment on the assessee is called as an thing. Clear? We're ending the discussion on this today. Tomorrow class is on Sunday. Class is on Sunday. When we come back on Sunday, we need to discuss what do you mean by a previous year, what do you mean by assessment year, what do you mean by total income, what do you mean by. Yes, I think Sunday will take off for me to understand what is previous year, assessment year and total income. Rates in force is where you are going to enter into sums with me. Yes, so chapter number 1 will be done with the 3 definitions which we have. Chapter number 2 is what is rates in force. When we get into chapter number 2, you will start doing sums with me. Okay, so theory is only till chapter number 1. Chapter number 2, you start doing sums with me. Life will be very different then. Okay, you will enjoy a lot of time with me because you will make mistakes and I will laugh. That is my fun part of it. Yes, we will get to chapter number 2 probably by next week. We'll be into chapter number 2. Till today, whatever you have done, please give us skim through. Please do a skim through. The one request which I generally have in my classes, the provisions are going to get complicated as we go forward. Reason is because there is a lot to read. Okay? And the moment you skip, the moment you procrastinate, it will lose your head. Because what we discussed today is what I will ask you on the last day of the batch also. It's all linked. It's very linked. Okay. Suddenly what will happen 2 days before the class, I will come and say, day, first day nang idu padichom nyamogam iruka. And that day only I will smile. No one else will smile. Adana and the retention la sonnala. I come with that kind of excitement because I know you will forget. Okay, prove me wrong. Point is very simple. Income tax, the time I take to explain is way higher than what is there to read. You notice till date we have only done 3 sites. Check. From yesterday to today, we have only done 3 sites, okay? And these 3 sites will slowly keep accumulating, only because you don't read. My request I generally make, it will not take more than 5 minutes, I can assure you. What I do in a class on a day will not take more than 5 minutes for you to go and home. The day you complete your class, evening, sit for 5 minutes, that's all. If you're taking more than 5 minutes, shut your book, I don't want to. Not more than 5 minutes. 5 minutes, take some time, go through what you have done in that class. Keep it in fresh of your mind, because tomorrow when we come back, I will ask the same question. And if you blink at that time, the chapter will get over, but you will not understand it. Let's not make those kind of mistakes. Start that practice today itself. Okay? Not expecting you study for 6 hours, 8 hours a day, not the practice. Okay, not the kind of thought which I want from you. The reason why people come to that position where they say they're studying for 18 hours, 20 hours a day is because they did not put focus right now. Don't make that kind of mistake. If you're writing November, don't start studying in the month of October and November saying, now I will start. That is the day you will have to start for 20 hours a day. Of that, if you start 5 minutes today itself, November and October will go very smoothly. Can you do that for me? Let's do that kind of practice. 5 minutes of reading every day. That's all. Not more than that. 5 minutes of reading every day. Or if you want, before the class starts also, come to the class, skim through the book. You will automatically understand what we have done. But keep that thought in mind, because if you enter the next chapter and you don't remember the earlier chapter, the next chapter will also go for a toss. The earlier chapter will also go for a toss. You will sit and only blink at my face, and I will wait. I'll be waiting for you in the next meeting. Let's not get to that positions. November is what is the final attempt, or no? Why do I have doubts right now itself? Are you writing November? Let's keep that thought clear. Thank you, people. Have a good day.